I remember drawing a set of little tiny furnitures that my mom bought, and she taught me how to draw them. And this is like 6 or 7 years old, and even from then she realized that I could draw. She was like, this is how you draw, look at the angles, look at the, the structure of the chair. And yeah, they were the first things I drew. And it's really weird because I ended up doing furniture and product design at college as well. I just realized that now. How bizarre. My name's Kris, and I'm an artist. The first one I did was actually that portrait, and then it was the Erykah Badu, and then it was the typewriter. That was hard. The typewriter took me months to finish. It was also a thing where I'd put it aside for weeks, and then it would just be there on the side going, come on, finish me. It's like, okay. But it was definitely a test. An endurance test. Where else have I drawn? What were the others? The knuckle duster. I call that We Are the Revolution. It's about the internal fight that we have with ourselves when you're just trying to overcome things. When people see my work, I love that people see different things in artwork. But what gives me the most sort of satisfaction is when they see it how I see it. And if they do, it's always like, okay, so I did it right. If they see what I saw as an artist, then that gives me the most joy. When I'm creating work, it's always in isolation. I try to limit who I'm looking at in terms of contemporary artists, because anything that you're listening to or watching or looking at informs your work. So sometimes it's best to just stick to what it is you want to inform your brain with. I try and limit that, so at least whatever I'm making, it has to still kind of come from me, basically. It's really hard to kind of declutter. It takes me a couple of days to get in that frame of mind, basically, to be like, okay, let me work. Sometimes in the middle of the night, just have the urge to draw a face, and I'll just draw a face very quickly with Indian ink, and it's like, whose face is that? But it was just a face that I had to kind of draw, and usually if I remember it, it'll be of somebody I've seen, or it's kind of like an amalgamation of people, faces that I've seen throughout the day, basically. Living in London, you can't help it. You're around people all the time, on the buses, on the tube, on the streets. I look at people's faces all the time. There are times when I'll basically see faces that I've seen in my daily kind of routine, manifest in the work, basically. So they always end up being ambiguous enough. Sometimes you can't even tell if it's male or female. What I love is people find faces of people that they know in my work, even though it's not who I drew. I think people read other people's faces in them. It's another thing that artists have to learn along the way, is like, you can't keep all your originals, you have to sell them, but I'm getting good at that. I don't mind selling all other pieces apart from those crazy ones that I did in the beginning. It's not so much something that I purposely want the audience to feel, so I don't want to tell them what to feel or what. I think it's more on the artist and what they're feeling and how they're expressing that. You can't really make work thinking about how somebody's going to perceive it. I'm always trying to not think about how people are going to take my work or what they're going to see, and it's more like, what is it that I'm feeling right now, and how am I going to show that through this piece of work? And if this work is finished, how does this work feel? Does it feel this way or that way? They do say something, there's a common thread that runs through it. And it's quite nice to see when you're looking at a body of work, not just sort of one piece. What I would like people to take time to do is to pause long enough and see some stillness in the work anyway. And if they pause long enough, they might find other things in there, but I'm not going to tell them what it is that they should see.